Hello and good evening, everyone. And thank you for joining us. This is the first episode of our series.
Dobro veče svima i hvala što ste nam se pridružili.
Margarita,
I don't have my Serbian link, sorry.
Oh, just a moment. So thank you again. So our topic is to say yes to consciousness. We say yes to so many things in our life. Like we say yes to create something, to have more ease, to have things in our life that we would like to have, that we desire to have. But everything comes back to that moment, to that question that, are you willing to say yes to consciousness? Because in that sense, consciousness is something that really can contribute to your life, like not functioning from our points of view, from logic, not functioning from all the limitations, all the expectations, not functioning from our past, especially past experience, or what we have learned, or what we've been forced into. When you are functioning from consciousness, that also means that you are willing to be and show up as the infinite being that you are. So the title for today, what is consciousness? And of course, there is another question, what is spirituality? And over the years, or over the decades, or hundreds of years, there were so many, let's say, so many misconceptions and lies were built on top of this topic. So many people had their ideas and had somehow mistranslated the meaning of consciousness. And there are so many ways, because there are many terminology, different words with different meanings. So it's not the simplest thing to work with consciousness, or to function from consciousness, or to have a common understanding what is consciousness. So we try to build sort of like a good basis for this common understanding. First of all, what is consciousness, or how can we sort of like have clarity about that? What we are doing is based on consciousness. So consciousness has nothing to do with logic. When we are using our logical mind, when we are using all these past experience, when we are using points of view, or other people's expectations or points of view, or their expressions about what we should do. So this is not a conscious decision, because you are an infinite being. And in that sense, if you ask what is an infinite being, the infinite being has the capacity to connect and be in communion with the whole universe. That means you are not limited in that sense of functioning from your own awareness or functioning from your own logic. You are not left alone. As part of our education, I think in all countries, they sort of like want you to learn, to study like biology or chemistry or physics or grammar, languages, geography, history. So education is really about that you memorize things, and then later you can use the things that you memorized. And if you go further, then maybe you will learn a profession, you memorize the steps or the basics of that profession, and this is what you should use. But in our education, it's not part of how you can use your awareness. Like no one is teaching us what does it mean having your own awareness. There are some words like gut feeling. You have a sensation in your guts, or you have a sensation in your heart, or you have a sensation in your soul. There are many forms how people say that, but no one is really teaching you, or no one is really empowering you that your gut feeling or your awareness is real. So you really have to go and find some place where you can learn it, and where you can be educated on this topic. And actually, even if you are just educated, you will mainly just hear other people's their own experience about what it is. And however, it is really, really useful to see and have this kind of education. But if you are not doing your part, if you are not starting to educate yourself about what is consciousness and how it shows up for you, then it's not really useful. So there is a part of consciousness which is about, it is different for each of us. It is different how you can experience it. And it is also different how you can use it for yourself. For example, if we are talking about awareness, this is why there is a word, gut feeling. Some people can sense it, what's happening with their beloved ones in their guts, in their stomach, in their belly. Some people can sense it in their chest, or they say in their heart. And but no one was ever really empowered to start to use it, to start to see what are the different ways when your body is giving you like an expression, giving you information about what's happening in the world, what's happening with other beloved ones. Most of the time we have some kind of a sensation that something bad happened to your child, to your partner, to your parents, someone who is really close to you. And also there is that word of intuition. And the problem with intuition that somehow it's part of the definition that sometimes it shows up and sometimes it doesn't. But what we would like to have a steady, continuous access to your own awareness. And if we go further, what is awareness? Awareness is that to recognize that your body or your being is somehow picking up information, and somehow it is sort of like showing you that something is happening around you. But still, there is another step, which is about translating your awareness. Like even if you have a gut feeling, you have a bodily sensation, it's not sure that, like, let's say last time when you had the same kind of gut feeling, maybe your child had a bike accident, riding a bicycle and fell down the bike, hit his knees, was crying, there was a trauma. And you were at home and suddenly you felt that traumatic sensation in your body. And next time when you sense it, you will think maybe that, oh, this is again about my child. But it's not sure that it is about your child. Just because it was the same last time, it doesn't mean it will mean the same this time. So we we need to start to use these capacities and entrain ourselves into what is the meaning in different situations. So it really requires your activity, your input, your investment, let's say energetic investment and time investment. And also you have to be brave to empower yourself that no matter what's happening, I'm willing to know it. I'm willing to see it, what's happening. You can start to build the same gut feeling connected to your business, to a business decision, to hold on for a moment. Setting back the Serbian translation. Okay, so as you start to work with your own capacities, there is a really good tool which is about asking questions, like connecting to your awareness, connecting to your body, and start to ask questions about what does it really mean. And there is an amazing tool which is about If you ask a question, the energy that is showing up right after your question, the energy is a question. That energy will expand your reality, or will it create a sense of expansion in your body or in your being, or will it create a contraction in the body and the being? If it creates a contraction, that means that thing is not true for you. Like what you were asking as a question, that's not true. If it creates an expansion, that it means it was true. You are right. Like, for example, you have that gut feeling again, that sensation in your body, that last time you had it and your child was falling down the bicycle. And then you say, you have this expectation or this idea or this conclusion, building upon a past experience. So you have a conclusion saying that, pretty sure the same thing happened to my child. Like my child is again in some kind of traumatic event. And then you can ask the question like, truth, is this about my child? And if you will have a sensation of expansion, then yes, it is about your child. But if you don't, then maybe you need to go further and ask other questions like, is this about my family, one of my family members? Is this about my closer family members? Like maybe you have other children, or is this about my partner? Is this about my parents? And see what is the energetic sort of like response that's showing up for you. When we say in your body, definitely you can feel it and sense it inside your body. Some of the muscles contracting or expanding, or your chest is contracting or expanding, or your breathing is changing. But when we say it's about your being that is picking up the information or the energy, it can be a sensation of feeling to be pushed down, or having a sensation of the space that you had before. Suddenly it's contracted. So it's not a bodily sensation, but also you can sense that suddenly you feel more spacious as a result of asking questions. So in that sense, consciousness is the capacity to connect to anyone or connect to anything. Like you can connect to a person and ask questions. You can connect to a situation and ask questions. You can connect to your business, to a financial decision. You can connect to fruit and food and ask questions. Is it a contribution if I eat that? So you have the chance to ask so many questions. And with this simple tool, you start to have more clarity about what does it truly mean. Like if you had that gut feeling, what does it mean this time? So you can, it really requires your activity. It requires you to sort of like challenge your conclusions or challenge your judgments, but not willing to go into judgments immediately, but allow yourself to okay, now I have some space for myself. I'm not under the effect of my fears or feelings and thoughts and emotions, but I'm choosing to function from the space of the infinite being I am, and I'm choosing to have clarity about what is really happening. And it's like for a lot of people, mostly for women, you have the idea that you can have this gut feeling with your children because your children were, growing inside your body and you had this 9 months of connection. But actually, it is your choice to have the same kind of connection with your business, to have the same kind of connection with other people around you in your life. So what would you like to do? What are you willing to do? What are you willing to be present with? Like truly, are you willing to really follow your own awareness and have clarity about what is really happening? So everywhere you decided you don't have this capacity, everywhere you decided it's not possible to have ease, will you now destroy and uncreate all that? And everywhere you decided you don't have ease with your own awareness, it just showing up randomly, will you destroy and uncreate all that too? And just because you don't have ease, let's say with this tool on the very beginning, it doesn't mean it's not possible to access it. It's not possible to have ease with that later. I just would like you to sort of like empower that. Please keep doing the exercise. Please keep playing with this exercise. Like this is how it works for most of the people, but how it works for you. Please have a look at it. Start to play with it. See it for yourself, how it works. Anyone has a question? And you can ask a question by typing it into the chat box, or you can unmute yourself, or you can tell it directly to the translator as you wish. So if you go back to the topic of what is consciousness? Consciousness is your capacity to see things that is not visible, to see things that is not around you, to become aware and have clarity about things that didn't happen to you, but happened to someone else. Like have clarity about things that is going to happen in the future. You have the capacity as well to figure it out what's happened in the past and have total clarity about it. Like consciousness goes beyond time. So you can connect to any situation, anything that happened in the past, in the present, in the future, even if it is on a different planet, even if that is on a different side of the galaxies. If you are a scientist, you can use consciousness to make it work with your scientific research. Maybe you are working on finding a cure for a disease. Maybe you are working in the area of chemical reactions, or you are working in any field of science where you say, this is a thing that no one ever learned or no one ever made any research. And you can ask questions about it, let's say, to which direction you should go. What should be the next step of your research? Like, would it be a contribution if you use this kind of technology or technique or method for your research? Even if you are doing sports, you can also use it. Like, is it a contribution if I prepare for that championship, or if I prepare for that league, or whatever kind of tournament, if I use this kind of exercise to prepare? Or is it a contribution if I even like sign up for that tournament? Let's say if you are working in a garage fixing cars, you can connect to the car and ask questions like let's say the owner brings in the car and they say the car is just stopping in every 200 meters or every 2 kilometers, and I don't know why. It's full of petrol, there's nothing wrong with it, and even any computer doesn't give you any signal or any useful information. So you can still connect to that car and start to ask questions like where you should locate that issue, that problem. What is causing this malfunction in the car? Also, if you are a teacher, you can connect to all the students and sort of like start to stay present with them and give them information in a way that they would enjoy to have it. There are so many ways we can use consciousness. So in order to get information, we just covered that. Like you don't have to be like physically there. It could have happened in the past or in the present, or it never happened yet. It's something that may happen in the future, and you can ask questions about it. and be present with the energy that shows up right after asking the question. And you can figure it out whether it's true, whether it is going to happen or it is going to happen that way. And also, you can connect to people that are in a different country or on the different part of the planet. And you can ask questions about them. Or maybe, let's say you have a child who is going overseas for the university education or just spending 1 year overseas for whatever reason. And you can also ask questions whether it is going to be a contribution to them, or which city would be a contribution for their education, or which school would be a contribution to their education. As well, when you are choosing a new workplace, you can use this, like where would it be? Which company I should apply for? Is it a contribution if I accept the offer of this company? Is it a contribution at this price, like at this kind of salary? So consciousness is something that you can rely on, that can give you information and total clarity. It's not like, maybe or possibly or who knows. It can be really, really pragmatic and really exact, the information that shows up. And this is all about starting to use your body and use your being. You are an infinite being. Like those people, the infinite being is not your body. The infinite being is you who are listening to this. The infinite being is you who are talking to each other. You are an infinite being, and you have all these capacities. And you can ask the question, why I don't have these capacities now, or why I don't have working properly these capacities. And it's very simple, because you didn't educate yourself, you didn't give permission to yourself, and it's about start to do the exercises, start to play with it. Somehow we are really, really playful, and if you learn during play, then it will sort of like get rid of the burden of the whole thing. It doesn't have to be heavy, it doesn't have to be a burden, it doesn't have to be very time consuming or tiring or overwhelming. It can be something that's really joyful and easy, but it is, again, it is your duty to make it joyful, to get rid of these points of view of this is heavy, this is hard, it takes so much time, and it's not reliable. So if we put together these details, then consciousness is something that is your very nature. You have access to all information in the world. There is no such thing that you couldn't or you are not allowed to ask questions about. And you can ask a question. What does it mean I can ask the question, or who am I asking the questions? You are asking the questions from yourself, from the space of the infinite being that you are. And in that sense, you are interconnected, you are in communion with the whole universe. So you are actually connecting to the whole universe energy and consciousness. When I say the whole universe, that means it's including planet Earth, it's including all the entities, all the beings, all the people, all the bodies, all the animals, all the plant, the whole mother nature. It includes everything and everyone on the planet, but it also includes everything and everyone beyond the planet. And again, it's not limited to only this moment, but it includes everything that ever happened and everything that can happen. So as an infinite being, you can go beyond time and beyond space. When I say space, it means beyond any distance. There are no limitation regarding the distance of how far you can connect to something and someone. There are no limitations about time, how much you can go back time. So you can ask questions that happened even before you got born in this lifetime. And you can ask questions even about things that will happen after you pass away. Are you willing to start the exercises and see it and have the play of how does it work for me? How does it show up? What are my the expressions of my body, or how does it show up in my being, what I sense, and what does it mean when I sense this. And you can also ask your body and your being to give you like an exact response, energetic or bodily response, that tells you what is a no, or what is fake or false or not right for you, and also to show you an exact example or an exact sensation, bodily sensation, or perceiving in the being, when something is right for you, when something is true for you. So as an infinite being, you have consciousness. This is your nature. You have the capacity to connect to everything. You have the capacity to know about everything. You are not right, neither wrong, if you ask questions. If you are willing to and dare to connect to any topic, to any people, to any situation. Of course, it's a question, how do you use it? But you are allowed to know it. There is no such thing as a secret. Cool. Do you have any questions so far?
Yes, I do have a question for you.
So there is a question, yes?
Yeah. Okay. How can you tell that you've connected with someone through consciousness? Can they feel the energy that we use for this?
I'm just asking the question from all the translators. Did you hear the question? Okay, thank you. I'm just testing the system. So the question was, how can we know that we connected to someone, and if the person can sense the energy that we use for this?
Yes, exactly.
Yes. So it's not something that like an energy that you use. It's not something that you have to sort of like send out from yourself, like an energetic pulse or an energetic beam that you send out from you. It's not about sending energy to someone and use that energy to sort of like touch that person and take the information and bring it back to you. It's rather about, because it's not necessary at all. You as an infinite being, when you are in communion with the whole universe, you are connected and you are in continuous presence with everyone else. And you can sense them. It's your choice who you would like to sense. It's your choice of what you would like to sense and know about them. Of course, questions, like asking questions, is just the first step. It's a possible first step. Because as you ask questions, it's sort of like empowering you that this is a tool that you can use. This is a possible tool. And it is a useful tool. But it can be anything else for you. Oops. So as you start to use questions, it's sort of like strengthen your capacity to sense it, and it strengthen your capacity to translate the sense of your awareness into clear information for you. And after a while, questions are not really necessary at all, because you strengthen your capacity of sensing and perceiving to the level where no questions are needed. Like you just immediately connect to the person. And if you're interested about whether the person will know it, it's just a question how present they are. Most people start to have the same kind of sensation, like the same kind of spaciousness when you function with them, with the space of the infinite being. Like they start to have more ease. Maybe they are working, maybe they are sitting at the chair, watching TV, and suddenly they can have a sensation of more ease and spaciousness in their body and in their being. Some people can even recognize you. Like some people can sense you, or they can have the vision that you are sort of like connected to them. But it is always very personal. It's up to them what they are willing to know, what they are willing to recognize from the environment, what they are willing to recognize about what's happening to them. So it's really different for each and every person. And of course, maybe it's all about what is the purpose of connecting to them. Like when you would like to, let's say you have, let's say a friend of you, and you would like to test something with them, whether they are a good friend or not a good friend, then you already have sort of like a projection on them. And maybe that will not feel very good for them, that you are sort of like questioning them and questioning their friendship towards you. But again, it's about how do we use it? What we would like to do with this thing that we have access to, like what we would like to get out of consciousness. Would we like to contribute to people, or we would like to use against them? Like I would like to invite everyone to please contribute to yourself and contribute to people. When I say contribute to yourself, it's just keep it in mind that being in the space of the infinite being, which is being in communion with everyone. So if something is contributing to you, it will be a contribution for each and every person and body and being who are sort of like touched or included in that topic. So everywhere you decided that you may do something wrong, or it's being selfish to use your capacities. No, it doesn't have to be selfish. It's only selfish if you are not in communion, if you are not choosing to be in communion and from that space with everyone and everything. So are you willing to create something greater, a greater future for yourself and including everyone else? Not just your family, but other people as well. Even those people that you don't like, and even those people that you don't know at all. What if it's possible and sort of like you really can be a contribution to people that you maybe never met before? So in that sense, consciousness, again, it's your very nature. You have access to it. It is having access to all information and as well, all kinds of energies. With consciousness, you can really create a change. There is no such thing as doubt anymore. You can really function from having information and knowing what needs to be done in this very moment. So are you willing to have that much ease in your reality? Are you willing to have ease with your future? Are you willing to know and have clarity about everything in the future? About your business, about your relationship, about your children, about your parents, about your body, about all kinds of diseases or symptoms in the body, about things that are happening at your workplace or in your business, how you can use it for your profession, how you can use it to deal with your children or with your friends or with your family. Like how you can use consciousness to create greater for yourself and for everyone. Are you willing to know it? Are you willing to have access to it? And everywhere you decided it's a wrongness, you are not allowed to use it because it would be like an unfair advance against others. Like you should use your logical mind, your brain, and you should rely on other people's judgments and expectations and points of view and all the projections that they are putting on you or telling you. Will you destroy and uncreate all that for all eternity? And actually, what if you really can use it to create a change in your body, in your financial reality, in your relationships, and in all areas of your life, and not just in your life, but all the people joined or connected to it or included in that topic. Thank you for your question. Do we have another question before we wrap up?
Yes, there was one question. Da, vidim. Yes, I see. But actually, what I see, what I know, Rocco, you said already, but maybe translation is missing. But anyway, if we don't have, if we ask a question and there is no expansion, or yes, or there is no contraction as well. So how do we know the answer?
Okay, so the question is that if you ask a question, there is no contraction nor expansion, then what's happening? There can be questions that are neither right nor wrong. So you can ask the question and you can also ask the opposite of the question. And if you ask both, you will have the same thing, like sort of like nothing, a very natural nothing. That means it's not really relevant to you. It's neither right, it's not right nor wrong. It's not relevant at all. It doesn't have an effect in your life. Also, at the same time, it is possible that you have so many judgments. I'll give you an example. Like you go to the supermarket or you go to a pharmacy and you would like to buy some vitamins for your hair, your skin, your nails. You know, you can buy all this stuff. And you grab one box of these vitamins and you ask the question, is it a contribution to my body? But before you choose that box, you see the price of it and you say, oh, it's insane. It's so expensive. I don't want to buy it. I don't want to give this much money for that. So before you would ask the question, you already have a point of view. And with your point of view, you start to block your awareness. Your point of view, like you're unwilling to give money for this, is the primary judgment. And from that moment, that will block the information that may come up. If you clear your points of view, like your opposition about the price, then you can have clarity about it. And after that, maybe the energy will change. Like instead of sensing nothing, you may sense it is a big contribution, or you may sense, no, it's not a contribution at all. You know, when we make the price irrelevant, then, or when you make some of your judgments or points of view irrelevant, but you simply just functioning from, does it create greater or not? No matter what is the price. I just would like to have clarity about it. Because maybe there are like 10 or 20 different products. Maybe this is a really pricey, expensive one, but maybe 18 out of the 20 is not a contribution. Like these are fake products, or it wouldn't contribute to your body. No matter what is the price. Some of them are expensive, some of them are very cheap, but maybe none of that would really contribute to what you would like to have it for. And this is why I say the price doesn't matter. Your question originally was like, if I take these pills, these vitamins, will it be a contribution to me? But your judgment about the price, it was shading, it was like limiting your awareness. So get rid of your points of view, your expectations or judgments about the product or about that situation, and ask the question again. And see if there is a change in the energy, if you will sense there is expansion or contraction. Cool. Thank you so much for the question. So hope I covered your question. And so this was it for today. And thank you so much for everyone joining us and for all your amazing questions. This is a series that's going to happen fortnightly, so every second week. And we are going to come with different topics about consciousness. And this is an invitation as well to please say yes in your everyday situations to consciousness. What could you change in your life if you function from consciousness, no matter what is the situation around you. What could you change if you keep your space, if you keep functioning from the space of the infinite being you are? And if there are any lies and misconceptions about consciousness, we really would like to cover that and come and talk about it. So thank you again for signing up and joining us. If you haven't been there, we will send out the recording for everyone who registered for this. Thank you so much and have an amazing evening, and hope you can use it in your everyday life and you can do these exercises and see how it works for you. Maybe next time, if you have questions, like did it work for you or not, we can start with that and go further with the next topic. And you will hear about us, about the next topic. Thank you for all the amazing translators and everyone who was part of making this happen. Thank you for your amazing work, and have an amazing evening. Thank you so much. See you. Bye-bye.